What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Punkstar. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Gaboo. The map is Calm Shores. Calm Shores is the map. It's currently 1-0 in this best of 5 for the Challengers League playoffs. Feels good to be able to say that after all of those group stage games. Both players moving up to this top side of the map here. Going for this dock, and we already see the Katoskopos being really annoying. All in favor of the Katoskopos no longer having a sword? Raise your hand. All opposed? No one? Fantastic. And in Vibly Balance patch 6.0, the Katoskopos has gone from 2 attack to 0 attack. And everyone is very, very happy. If this villager dies here, it's gonna die. 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. And now the Katoskopos can just sit here, and that villager pops out. He can't use the villager anymore. I don't know, guys. Okay. This makes me so mad. This is the primary reason. And imagine right now, imagine you're playing as Norse, or imagine you're playing as Egyptian. All of this early game harass here that you can successfully achieve with the Katoskopos for no good reason. No good reason. There's no good reason why a scout should have damage. I also believe that the Ulfsark should lose its axe until it's in the classical age. Like, why should they have an axe? Why should your scout have a thing? I think that the Egyptian players, Pharaoh and Priest, should not have any stones to throw. They can't throw any stones until the classical age. Make it fair. Make it a fair open up for everyone after all is said and done. Anyways, Doc coming up over here for Punkstar. Punkstar having a lot of problems in this early game. And we'll see if he's going to be able to play around it and deal with it. But Gaboo here, he should be completely fine to hit like a 345, 445 advance time. Oh, his villager here is chopping down a very strange tree. And that's the opposite side. He wants to be putting it over here. We'll see if he recognizes that or not. As it looks like Punkstar's Katoskopos going down to 5 HP. That's a fantastic idea, Septifolia. Put in the temple or something. Put in the town center and upgrade, which gives yourself a sword for your Katoskopos. I love that. Fantastic. Great idea. Tie it to a different upgrade. I don't care. Alrighty. Both players here seemingly having a disastrous early game. On the map Calm Shores, I do believe the best opening you can pull off is a 445 here with Greek. You can go for a 402 if you decide to rush on one side of the map, which could be a possibility, could be very, very strong as well. And you could potentially go for a 430 staying on one side of the map. First blood is drawn. First blood is drawn. And the game continues. And everybody sheds a tear. Punkstar going through Athena. Gaboo going through Hermes. And we'll see how the game ends up shaping up here with Gaboo having a significant advantage on the village account here. He's up 2 villagers. Obviously, he's advanced 1 villager later. But 2 villager advantage here means 120 resources a minute in income more than what Punkstar is going to have here. Punkstar's also, for some reason, grabbed himself 16 favor. Oh, he's Zeus. Never mind. So that's neither here nor there. He's grabbed himself 1 favor. So no real problems where that's going. As the Athena just about to pop out, and we'll see how everything progresses here in this game. As the toothed arrows is also on this part of the map here. Very, very important relic to grab there. And the Anvil of Hephaestus, another incredible relic to grab there, increasing your archer damage with the archer relic and getting your armory upgrades even cheaper is huge, especially when you go for like something like Hephaestus. Or even if you're going for Hera here, this can be a very big thing as the Minotaur pushing forward, trying to take out a storehouse. Going to be going after this dock here. Gaboo does have both of his docks up already as the trireme are going to start popping out here. As we see the dock starting to get cleaned up. Good micro here from Punkstar. He's got the archer ship advantage significantly in his favor. As he pushes forward, more archer ships moving in here to take this fight. There's also a bolt available for Punkstar to use here. He can use it on the trireme, or he could use it on a Odysseus or a Jason, as he does pick that. Theseus, I should say. Theseus or Hippolyta, because it's Poseidon there, right? As the unit's now pushing forward, we do see the Centaur getting targeted down there as Punkstar does get a little bit out of position there, having to pull back. I think the best option here is just to have the Jason attack the Theseus. You have a slight HP advantage. A slight HP advantage in this fight, so you should be able to win that one relatively easily as the Centaur turns around. Theseus going after each other. As the Centaur will get sniped. Oh, they bump into each other. You hate to see it. As yet again, good micro here from Punkstar. Sniping down another trireme, or basically sniping down a trireme there on the top side of the map. You also see Punkstar has pushed Gaboo off of the top water there as he's still putting pressure over here. So now this is huge advantage Punkstar after all is said and done here, as it looks like the Centaur is going to be alive and the Minotaur has been taken out. Good control from Gaboo to get that sorted out with. Right now we've got 8 trireme on the bottom side of the water to 13 trireme for Punkstar. Punkstar should continue putting pressure on here as he's got the ship advantage, the numbers advantage. Alternatively, he could stop production of trireme and get into a second town center at this point as an idea, as the Jason going to be retreating all the way back home. He might have to get himself out of Odysseus here as well. Yet again, beautiful micro here from Punkstar. Gaboo not paying attention on this one. He gets completely pulled out here. Beautiful play from Punkstar. Huge blunder by Gaboo, as that basically means Punkstar is going to be able to clean up the rest of this water here, and Gaboo's going to have to figure out what else he can do here in this game. While on the other side of the map, the trireme pops out. Punkstar going to have to garrison his fishing ships over there, picking off all of those trireme underneath the dock fire. No problems here. Sniping those trireme significantly faster than those docks are dealing damage here, as Punkstar can chase the trireme of Gaboo back over here. He just picks off every single one that's popping out here. No problems there, as Gaboo, he's refused to stop the production for the time being, and Punkstar is just getting a huge advantage after all is said and done. As the trireme moving forward here as well, as there's the Centaur coming into the main base of Punkstar. Jason coming out, Odysseus coming out as well. So those trireme now starting to take a look and finish off the rest of the trireme of Gaboo. Punkstar going to be able to fish up this location, and it looks like Gaboo focusing on the left side of the water here. So right now Punkstar's got an option. His option here is to focus on the land and get town centers. Obviously, he's won this side of the water, so he doesn't need to produce all too much to defend over here, just a little bit to defend, get himself that town center up, and start putting pressure onto the land. And that's what he's going to be doing here, at least in terms of the town center. Or he could just go full send on the land because you know the gold mine is about to be expired. You've got about 2 minutes remaining on that gold mine after all is said and done. And you can kind of tell based on your own gold mine how much gold your opponent's got in these sorts of matches, because Greek versus Greek, you know exactly what they've got by looking at your own stuff. As the dock now going to get taken down, and Gaboo going to be losing the rest of that, but he is getting some decent damage done into the main base of Punkstar. Meanwhile, Centaur does fall down. Jason coming through here to defend. And I imagine it kind of, to me, it looks like Gaboo at this point. I mean, he wants to win this water, but he's not going for a town center. His resources really, really low. He's got the gold, but not the wood here. And Punkstar, on the other hand, wall's coming up over here. I'm not exactly sure, is he going for a third town center or is he going for a 2 town center push? If he goes for a 3 town center, I don't think he's realistically going to be able to gold starve here. This town center more than likely will get grabbed by Gaboo. But that's the town center you want to be stopping from getting grabbed so that you can easily access these 3 gold mines on the map. As once you see all of those trireme out, you know that Gaboo has invested a ton of resources into winning this side of the water, but Punkstar is producing into this dock nonetheless. We still haven't seen anything coming out here for Punkstar. I don't like this decision from Punkstar at all. We'll see how it's all going to go. He still hasn't put the fish out onto these locations here yet either. They're coming out as well. Does he have Percent? Yes, he does. So that's at least going to boost his food economy. So villagers jumping onto the herdables over here as well. And Gaboo at this point is starting to produce stables. Poseidon with the cheaper Hippocon, 36 food, 72 gold. Significantly cheaper. Effectively every 10 Hippocon you get 1 for free, which ends up being a huge help over the course of a game for the Poseidon players. The town center is getting grabbed, and we were talking about how important this town center is. I don't think Punkstar is going to be able to stop that as he throws down an archer range in a stable here. As the trireme do end up getting finished off. The dock finishes off over here as well. And we'll see if Punkstar at any point here is going to move up and drop a dock onto this position or not, as the militia getting cleaned up. Fishing ship who are also going to all fall down, as the 3rd town center for Punkstar is indeed going to be getting placed here, as well as the Hippocon starting to look for some damage onto Punkstar's base here, as the villagers will have to retreat away. He's also got the same gold mine down here. A cheeky wall on that position would be enough to defend that one, as the unit's retreating back, and Gaboo will get a little bit of damage done here. He snipes down a couple of those Toxotes nicely, as the town center getting some damage done. Good garrison there from Punkstar as he's keeping his units alive, getting some good damage back onto those Hippocon as it retreats back, and the villagers can come back over onto this gold mine. No problems here. As Punkstar at this point, you do have to remember that while Zeus versus Poseidon is a little bit more equal in the late game than Zeus versus Hades, Zeus versus Poseidon still is going to be favoring the Poseidon player, especially if we see Gaboo go through Aphrodite. Reason being, Divine Blood is enough to help the building spam come up to allow the Poseidon to take full advantage out of the militia in the late game. So Punkstar here, even though he's got himself a 10 villager lead, even though he's got the fishing ships out, he's got these docks up as well nicely, and he's got a good position in this game. He's got his gold mine sword. He's not going to be losing anytime soon. Even though that's all the case, he still needs to be thinking about how he can close this game out. As the Hippocon searching around here, going to be looking to take out some villagers and the rest. As Punkstar starts to move forward here, looking to take down a villager and everything else here, as the Hippocon searching around, take out some villagers to boot. And we'll see how it all ends up going here. As Punkstar retreats back, as the Hippocon searching for the gold villagers, but there's nothing over here. There's just villagers in the main base, and that's also a nice place to attack. One thing that ends up happening a lot of the time in these water maps, which I'm not sure. Obviously, there's just a lot of attention being spent on Trireme Micro, so it's really hard to set up the walls. But generally, you don't see the walls get set up until after the town centers get grabbed, which to me ends up being a little bit late compared to some of the other situations. And I feel like if everyone's fighting on the water, you could possibly put your walls up much, much earlier. And it could be a way forward, a much better way forward for certain civilizations, especially Norse, where if you build a handful of Hersa out, you can get those walls up without hurting your economy at all. So those are some ideas there if you want to steal them. As the Hippocon coming back into this position, trying to figure out ways forward here. Spirited Charge coming through Husbandry as well. Punkstar here, 145 or 145 population, 80 plus villages in a significant advantage villager count wise. As the Hippocon coming through here, do we have any upgrades for either player apart from that Spirited Charge that's coming through? Not just yet, as more villagers getting taken down. Good raid here from Gaboo, as the Hippocon starting to slice as best as they can against those Hippocon of each, both players Hippocon here actually. Copper Shields coming through for Punkstar, not going to help out too much. Restoration coming in to try and help stay alive and win this fight here. It will be allowing him to mostly win this fight as Gaboo's not retreating back. Gaboo does have the upgrades here now to make a swift retreat with the 6.05 speed, but another Hippocon falls, 10 remaining, as the unit's going to be pushing it onto the top gold mine here yet again, hitting Punkstar's economy nicely, as Punkstar is not quite able to defend both things at once at this point. He definitely needs some walls here at some point to kind of defend himself. Otherwise, these Hippocon are just going to run rampant through this base, as we see, what is that, 7? Looks like there's only 5 Hippocon here for Gaboo, as he has to pull back and not able to win that fight, even with the Spirited Charge there. As the Hippocon does fall, Copper Mail coming through here for Punkstar, as well as Aphrodite in for Gaboo. Some more military buildings coming up for Punkstar as he wants to get some hoplites out. Apollo, they got a choice here for Punkstar, makes a lot of sense. It's one of the few avenues which Zeus actually has an advantage over Poseidon in this matchup with, utilizing an underworld to get, or one force a ceasefire, but do some other stuff. Meanwhile, over on this position, we do see the Hippocon coming through here, going to be raiding the villagers on the farms here, as Gaboo not paying attention, not garrisoning his villages fast enough, losing a lot of villagers here, as the raids happening all over the place from Gaboo as well. He's hitting some good villager kills as well, but Punkstar has got 77 villagers, so this is seeming like it's hurting Gaboo a lot more than it's hurting Punkstar. As the unit's popping out here for Punkstar trying to fight on this position. I do think that just having them garrisoned is the best kind of way to play these fights. You don't take any damage and your town center gets bonus damage here. It's a significant amount. I believe it's around about a 10% boost per unit. So 10% boost of, say, 15 is 1.5. So then you times that by 2 because the town center, or 3? Is it times by 3 or 2? Times by 2 with the town center shooting. So it ends up being not quite the same DPS, but it's only about half the DPS that you would have if the units are outside. So it's totally fine to just garrison your units and be fine in those positions. As the units retreating back here, starting to see some prodromus coming out to try and deal with those cavalry units of Gaboo. Punkstar at this point has a ton of resources in the bank. Do we see a market up anywhere here? Yes, we do. So he's going to be attempting to go to that mythic age. There's a world where this gold mine expires. This gold mine is spotted, and this gold mine over here gets taken out. And we'll see if Punkstar wants to take that risk and go through Hera here, or go for the safe Hephaestus after all is said and done. So we can advance right now, and we will be seeing Hephaestus is the god of choice here for Punkstar, whereas Gaboo is deciding to opt for more upgrade-heavy, upgrade-centric heroic age, getting himself the quarry, the heavy cavalry, the bow saw. If we take a look at the upgrades here for Punkstar, he doesn't have himself irrigation or hand axe or anything here, but A nice fight nonetheless here for Punkstar with the help of that Manticore, but the Nemean Lion is moving forward to hit those Toxotes, doing that splash damage. It's a crazy amount of damage that the Nemean Lion actually manages to do, but with the Odysseus taking this one down and the help of that Manticore, we'll be able to finish that one off relatively fast. So too does the Manticore fall there, as Punkstar is not able to continue fighting on this location, as those Heavy Hippocon are just too strong. As I do think that Punkstar probably could go for something like Prodromus, Toxote, Hippocon here, like he's doing, but have to make sure that those Hippocon are targeting down the Toxotes on the back line there as best as they possibly can. But we're seeing Artemis come through now for Gaboo. Artemis against Zeus. I thought it was against Poseidon. That's obviously not possible because it's Zeus here. So Artemis here should be able to knock out this town center. And Punkstar is also going to be finding himself in a very difficult position here. He does at the very least have his walls mostly set up, but this gold mine is very, very open here. And there's a ceasefire available for Gaboo to potentially take this town center for himself to steal it. We'll see if that's going to be something that comes through as a wall comes up. Doc coming down on this position as well to look for some raids onto those fishing ships. As there's also a fortress coming up here as the underworld getting dropped down to hit these villages over here to potentially take the town center out. Plenty Vault coming down. The Colossus coming through here as well. Where's the underworld over on this position? As we see Gaboo saying, I'm not going to come back and I'm not going to retreat and defend myself. I'm going to take your town center down. But Maces is coming through. We do see some units coming back here for Punkstar. Not quite ready to go after that town center here. As we're at the Colossus. The Colossus is moving itself all across the map here to try and take out the town center by itself. Artemis is about 8 seconds here until the till that Artemis comes through. Fortified town centers will be in. Masons will be in. There's a decent amount of buildings around here, but to me it looks like the Underworld Passage and the town center is going to be falling here as the Hippocon moves forward here, sacrificing itself for that earthquake to get utilized on this position. He clicks in here. Is he going to kill everything off? The underworld goes down and the town center stays alive. Ladies and gentlemen, that Masons was clutch here as Gaboo doesn't get that kill. That's gigantic, but he does end up dealing with the Underworld Passage, which is also a decent usage of that earthquake. He still has not restoration, he still has ceasefire remaining as Punkstar getting himself architects and fortified town centers here to help keep this town center alive. As the Hippocons say, can I kill it off? Answer, no. As bronze mail, bronze shields, copper weapons, bow sword, fortified town centers, heavy infantry coming through as well for Punkstar as he's just waiting, biding his time to get that tech advantage after all is said and done. So now this is a different sort of situation where Gaboo is Artemis and Punkstar is Hephaestus. In the late game here, Punkstar will have access to the Colossus, Gaboo will have access to the Chimera, but Gaboo needs a ton more resources to get to that late game than Punkstar needs, because Punkstar is already nearly full bronze here, which basically means Gaboo's army is not going to be able to fight here anymore. And we're also starting to see some trade caravans coming through here for Gaboo. Punkstar getting himself, Gaboo getting himself the Heliopolis as well. Punkstar definitely needs to find himself a fortress here. This is a big mistake that happens in the top levels of play where one player doesn't get a Heliopolis, the other player does. And even with armory upgrades, it tends to be that if you get enough Heliopoli out, you actually start winning these fights quite hard, because it doesn't matter how many armory upgrades you have, the Heliopolis has got more armor than you with the HP and the Pierce armor at 95%. Even though it's only got 5% hack armor, it doesn't matter. 650 HP is still 650 HP. As Heliopolis still coming back in here. Iron mail, bronze weapons coming through. Do we see any attempt at a fortress? I don't see one anywhere on the map just yet, as the Chimera coming through to pick off a whole bunch of Punkstar villages. How do you deal with that with Zeus? Well, you need your Bellerophon out to chase that one around, and we don't see it. Oh, we do see it actually, as the Bellerophon going to come in, jumping through to save the day, ignoring the Chimera, and finally coming through to take that one out, as the Chimera does use yet another special ability. Decent trade in all honesty for Gaboo, picking off a whole bunch of villages, but he does end up losing it at the end there. As now the fortress coming up. This is something I see a lot of Zeus players doing, or not necessarily Zeus players, but Greek players doing. They're like, I know I need a fortress. Let me put that fortress up in the most useful position possible. Problem is, it gets taken down if it's in that position by the enemy Heliopolite. It's actually better to just make a safe fortress and just have those fortresses rolling forward by quite a bit. But the villagers now coming through. The big weakness of the Heliopolis is indeed the villagers taking it down. And Gaboo here, he's not pulling back that Heliopolis, instead opting to try and finish off the fortress here, as the fortress at 70 HP now going to start getting repaired back up. Punkstar manages to survive here nicely, and not only that, the Punkstar Pentacontas coming through to take out a couple of these fishing ships, trying to claim the water over there, as the donkey caravan starting up for Punkstar, as the gold mines are starting to dwindle on this map. There's only a handful left, and we also see the Polyphemus coming through here, hitting this gold mine. This is going to be a big problem here for Punkstar. He's only got 2,000 gold left. Starting that trade route up, he's got a long ways to go to get that trade route into full gear. As Punkstar's Bellerophon needs to possibly think about something else here rather than attacking a storehouse. But I mean, that is what it is. Sometimes you just got to attack the storehouse. And look at this. You can see like 4 heavy hoplites with like nearly fully upgraded units. They just take forever to kill off the Heliopolis. And that's just, even though they're doing their full 11.2 damage per second against the Heliopolis, it just doesn't matter. It still takes you a very, very long time to take it out. As the Polyphemus coming through here, we'll end up. It never ceases to entertain me with the Polyphemus just bashing a tiny unit away from it. As the gold mine has been prevented from being grabbed for a considerable amount of time, as Punkstar pushes forward with his Heliopolis. His hoplites tanking nicely in the front, making some Toxotes on the back nicely there as well. As the Heliopolis going to be able to take down this fortress fairly quickly here as well. So fishing ship getting taken down on that position. It's going to attempt to finish off the Heliopolis of Gaboo as the fortress does fall. The question is there enough life here for Punkstar? He's got himself 5 donkey caravans. You basically, as we do also see a Juggernaut coming out, you basically need yourself 20 donkey caravans to really get going here. And maybe the best trade route would have been from here up to this position rather than here over to here. Obviously, this one is a more efficient trade route, but with the Juggernaut here taking out markets, it might not be the best of ideas. As Punkstar are trading back, villagers moving over onto this position here to drop another fortress. There is still 4,000 gold remaining over here. No raids happening onto this top gold mine, as Gaboo getting closer and closer to that perfectly fine and reasonable trade route. Where did he start it? It's not the best trade route in the world, only getting 34 gold a trip, whereas Punkstar is getting 69 gold here a trip, which is obviously much better. As the Pentacontas coming through to take out those Juggernauts, a couple more docks coming down to clean up the fishing ships on that location as well. And it looks like Punkstar here with those Heliopolis to help out is able to hold on this position so absurdly easy. But Punkstar is dropping down on population. He definitely needs some gold here as the wall's coming up. This lone Theseus, if it gets out of range here, the fortress should be able to take it down as it stays alive with 7 HP. There's more walls coming up, and the Theseus will indeed end up falling here as well. As Punkstar finishes off his walls, and he's going to at least have that final gold mine remaining to keep himself alive in this game. There's the Heliopolis of Punkstar rolling through. You can see he wants to attack that fortress, attack the buildings, but I'm pretty sure you actually just want to attack the Toxotes. If you can position right in front, it's really, really good. And one thing you can do is actually garrison your hoplites or Toxotes into the Heliopolis, and that makes your opponent's units auto-target fire the siege, and then you can drop them back out and have them attack without taking any damage. It's a really nice trick that you can do with that. It's also possible to do that with the siege tower as well, with like human units, or not human units, barracks units of Egyptian. There's a sneaky way to boost your army's effectiveness. And we're still seeing Punkstar. He's losing out on this position here, not getting himself those pentacondas. Does he have another market up? Obviously, there's one over here. Which actually, putting a market right next to your trading town center is not the worst of ideas. It's not the best of ideas, but it's not the worst of ideas. Because it means that your caravans will at least drop off all of their resources. Iron Shield's now coming through for Punkstar. How are the upgrades looking? Nearly full iron. Gaboo's got a ways to catch up here, but he is trading nicely. And you do have to remember, he does have that Aphrodite, but he hasn't got himself Divine Blood, which does mean, where's the advantage really? As some docks coming down on this position, there's a world where some sort of a transport ship play here wouldn't go astray. As Punkstar is a very, very different player to say Matrius, and he's like, I need an efficient trade route. Give me as much gold as I possibly can here. And he's not wrong. That's really, really helping him out in this game, and that's why his units have got more upgrades. Obviously, the Plentyvolt is helping as well, but it's a big reason why that's the case. It's the Heliopolite trying to break through on this position. But Punkstar, he still can't make any ground here. He has got some side builds set up here. Hoplites coming out. Obviously, the Zeus Hoplites have got the bonus damage versus buildings. So you're taking out Poseidon buildings with the Hoplites is not the worst idea. Obviously, they still have to compete with militia, but if you've got a couple of military academies here pumping units out, you should be able to push through. As we see some towers coming down for Punkstar to try and hold on this position as best as he can. As the Heliopolite still rolling through, tanking fire nicely here as Gaboo retreats back ever so slightly. Continues to take these fights. Nice positioning there to keep those Toxotes alive. As the Hoplites trying to take some villages out on this position. Walls coming through is finally the first kind of movement into some sort of progression in this game, as Punkstar claims just a little bit more of this map here, and he might be able to start pushing in here with Petropoli to start sieging this town center. And at this point, Gaboo just fully focused on one side of the map. He can't push through. He doesn't have any walls up himself. So this is allowing Punkstar to get into the position nicely. Towers coming through here as well. Would love to see Punkstar getting himself guard towers here. Does he have himself granulations? Yes, he does. Guard towers would push that damage up significantly as well. As the docks over here getting cleaned up by Punkstar's 5 Pentacontas. Fairly large investment into taking these out. As the dock does end up falling there. Units pushing forward. We see some Garrison Micro from Punkstar. Yes, Garrison Micro. Look at the damage. 26. How much does it normally have? 17? Wait. That's huge bonus. Right? Are they engineered? Oh, they are engineered. So they also get an extra 4.3 crush damage. I see. So they're 2.21. But did that go up to 25? Oh, this is 10% boost, right? 10% boost every unit that jumps in here. Just saying. Pretty good. Pretty good. As the Punkstar Watchtower comes back up. As he's trying to break through here. Another wall onto this position would be very, very huge. As he comes through, he's going to try and sneak in and drop a fortress over here, as we do see Gaboo trying to improve his market placement. And in that moment here, Gaboo says, oh, I just can't win. He's given this position up. This has been some very, very odd tap outs in this game. I do think that Punkstar has obviously got the advantage in this game. He's got the advantage. from an economic standpoint, from a map standpoint, but the game is still going. I'm surprised to see Gaboo tap out here, but he does tap out, and he might be falling in the next 5 minutes. But you definitely want to be trying here in these tournament games to come back, I reckon. Though sometimes stamina is a thing, and just tapping out and going next can definitely be a good way to go. One thing that I would like to see on this map a little bit more, and it's definitely something we see on like Anatolia, for example, is players utilizing a sneaky dock and a transport ship to move around. The one thing you can do is you can build the dock and you can build the transport ship and you can run around here and you're not going to be spotted until this location here, as opposed to on Anatolia where you get spotted the entire time down the shore. So then you push through here and you can start a side build over on this position and attack this town center here. And that could be done by both players here. Punkstar could have done it to push in over here or over here. And same too for Gaboo. And just one thing that possibly could have been an option here for both players, but we didn't see it here in this game. But well played by Punkstar, even after the atrocious start, the war crimes committed by Gaboo in the early game utilizing that Katoskopos. Unspeakable. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.